On this Northshore News, taxes and tolls could rise. See what the funding is going toward.
Also ahead, a group of angels save people from themselves. And we take a look at the efforts going toward reuniting hundreds of animals and their owners after the flooding in Louisiana. Northshore News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Maria Goddard.
And I'm Nancy Peck. Besides the races for president and the open U.S. Senate seat in Louisiana, one of the most important items on the November 8th ballot is renewal of Tangipahoa's 1-penny sales tax. Parish President Robbie Miller explains.
The parish has a 1-cent sales tax renewal coming up. It's been in place. We renew it every 4 years. We ask the people to renew it every 4 years since 1992. It is the largest funding source for the parish. It's a 1-cent sales tax inside of all of Tangipahoa Parish. 3/4 of that penny is dedicated to road and bridge, and 25% of that penny is dedicated to general operating funds of the parish.
Miller says the sales tax election is a vital one and that the parish has done a good job spreading available funds through the parish to try to cover all areas.
At 24 miles long and about 60 years old, the Causeway Bridge is an icon for the state of Louisiana. Because of the bridge's age, safety issues are now becoming a factor. And to pay for these safety improvements, the Causeway Commission wants to raise bridge tolls, as Amanda Kitch explains.
12 million vehicles commute across the Causeway each year, 6 times the amount of traffic that crossed in 1969 when the bridges were originally completed. With more vehicles on the bridges, Causeway General Manager Carlton Dufrechou thinks it's time to update the 20th century bridges for the 21st century traffic conditions.
These would be the most significant safety improvements to the Causeway since the second bridge was built in '69.
The Causeway Commission is working with the Department of Transportation and Development and the Traffic Institute at Texas A&M to make safety improvements. The plan is to add taller barriers on the southbound bridge and segmented shoulders to both bridges.
14 out of 15 of vehicle overboards have been on the southbound bridge of the Causeway. This is believed to be because the original railings of the southbound bridge are 6 inches shorter than the northbound bridge.
The southbound bridge, created in 1950, was intended for smaller vehicles. But cars on the road today are larger, and this is particularly a problem traveling southbound. To fix this issue and support the safety improvements, the Causeway Commission wants to raise the Causeway cash toll from $3 to $5 and the tag toll from $2 to $3, as well as issuing bonds for the project.
1 of every 2 vehicles on the Causeway today is an SUV or a personal truck. Because of the mass, they're safer on most roadways, but on the Causeway, the rails were designed for 1956 vehicles and 1969 vehicles, so they're much lower than contemporary bridges.
However, some residents of St. Tammany and Jefferson Parish are concerned about the toll increases. Rick Franzo of the Concerned Citizens of St. Tammany believes the toll increase and the bond borrowing are not necessary.
We did an analysis around the country and even around the world, and it is actually one of the safest roadways, not just in the United States, but in the world.
To fund the safety improvements, the Causeway will participate in a $133 million bond issue, which Franzo says could turn into a $296 million bond after interest. Franzo does not believe the debt is worth it and thinks the Causeway budget already is not spent wisely.
It's just endless amount of money that's being siphoned off for other projects. Meanwhile, the North Shore is paying for it.
Currently, the Causeway has the lowest toll per mile than any road or bridge in the country. For Northshore News, I'm Amanda Kitch.
The St. Tammany Council has already approved the Causeway going to the Bond Commission to pay for safety upgrades. Now, the Jefferson Parish Council must also approve the bond proposal request. If that happens, tolls may increase on the bridge in May of 2017.
The Hammond Regional Airport is receiving almost $5 million in government funding to rehabilitate and strengthen its 2 runways. Carnisha Tassin has more on this story.
Hammond Regional Airport is one of the busiest general aviation airports in the state. The airport director says there are 200 to 500 takeoffs and landings daily. In the past 18 months, the number of takeoffs and landings has doubled to 8,000 a month because of the growth and popularity of the airport, and the remodeled control tower has also made it safer to fly more aircraft. The rehabilitation work on the runways will begin in November. Airport manager David Labue said that the project should take about 80 days. Pilots who want to fly during runway reconstruction may have to use other airports.
For most of that time, at least one runway will be open and available. But there will be a period of time where both runways will be completely closed to fixed-wing aircraft, to airplanes.
The original estimate for both runways being shut down was about 18 days, but the contractor has agreed to work 24/7, which will decrease that wait period to 2 weeks. The Hammond Airport is looking forward to accommodating larger aircraft and increasing the amount of planes that use its facilities.
Well, with the upgrades to the airport, it's always going to make it's going to make the job easier. As far as the downtime during the actual construction, it might affect the movements for the first maybe 15 days, and then our traffic count should pick right back up. Should be no problem whatsoever. But as far as making our job easier, it'll definitely make it more safer with the advancement of the new surface for the aircraft to land on.
Hammond Regional Airport runways date back just before the time of World War II. Some pilots have said that if there's been a heavy rain, you can actually feel the water underneath the concrete when passing through the area in a larger airplane. The total project will cost about $5 million to repair those issues and to upgrade other amenities.
What they're going to do, and you can see it behind me there, but those colored sections of the runway are going to be completely torn up, and jackhammers. You've got these large machines that come in, get all that old concrete out.
The contractor came in with such a low bid for the rehabilitation that the airport will be able to make additional upgrades and still save the federal and state government about $1 million. For Northshore News, I'm Carnisha Tassin.
In addition to strengthening the runways, the Hammond Regional Airport is also planning to bring back the popular hot air balloon show 2 years from now. There's a new program on the Northshore that provides rehabilitation for substance addicts. I found out more about this new program.
911, what are you reporting?
Covington's not immune to the heroin epidemic going across the country right now. And in April of last year, I had a startling 911 call into her office where you could hear and actually feel a man die over the phone from a heroin overdose. And there was a small baby in the background crying. And it really touched my heart when I heard that. I knew that we had to change the way we were doing business.
Covington Police Chief Tim Lentz reflects on the call that is completely changing the way law enforcement deals with drugs. Drug addicts can now find a safe haven and a place of recovery on the Northshore. This home of healing can be found by walking into any police department on the Northshore and turning yourself in. It's not the most common idea of assistance for those who are breaking the law, but due to the widespread heroin problem across the country, local leaders decided to step up.
We were discussing ways to address the heroin problem in our community, realizing that putting people in the jail, it really wasn't the answer. So we did some research and found this model program out of Gloucester, Massachusetts called Operation Angel.
The program allows addicts of any kind to go to a police station, admit they need help, and even surrender any drugs with no questions asked. The mission of Operation Angel is to give help and not handcuffs. Since its birth on the Northshore back in May, Operation Angel has assisted 70 addicts on their road to recovery, made possible because of a partnership with the New Orleans mission.
They'll take anybody regardless of their ability to pay. They don't ask questions such as, do you have insurance? Can you pay X amount? They'll just take you.
Because of the rapid growth of Operation Angel and the mission support, the city of Covington, with the help of Dakota Restaurant, found a way to give back.
The event was great. The event to bring attention to the need of the New Orleans mission that provides this assistance, and to bring awareness and to raise money for the New Orleans mission was accepted very positively by our community. We raised over $12,000.
Local leaders say this is only the beginning for Operation Angel. They plan to stand behind the program and facilitate help for whoever needs it.
Just for those out there suffering from addiction, know that there's a better life for you. Your life has more meaning than your death. We're here to help you.
For For Northshore News, I'm Nancy Peck. For more information, visit the Covington Police Department's Facebook page.
The Tangipahoa Library System has several capital projects planned for the upcoming year. To fund these projects, the library system plans to request an increased millage this coming March. Barbe reports this story.
When some people think of the library, they think of it as just a place to borrow books, but libraries serve many other purposes.
The library isn't just books. The library is multimedia. It is computers. It is free Wi-Fi. But we do have people who come in and they offer tutoring services. We have people who use the small conference rooms.
We also provide educational opportunities where we have programs where professors come in, for instance, and teach on certain things. We provide a lot of programs for children from ages 6 months to 3 years old. We have Baby and Me. We have story time for preschoolers, and then we have Adventure Club for those who are in elementary school. Then we have teen and tween programs as well. So we offer a lot of things, materials and services.
The Tangipahoa Library System receives 2 millages, 2.81 mills and 3 mills. Both millages cover the yearly operating costs, and any money left over can be used for capital projects. The library will soon be asking its voters to increase the 3 mills to 5 mills to build, remodel, and develop existing libraries across the parish. They also hope to expand current library hours.
If voters approve of this new referendum, the Tangipahoa Library System plans to build a new library in Kentwood, as well as update their current branches across Tangipahoa Parish.
21 parishes in southeast and south central Louisiana, and how much money is spent per person on library services in each of those parishes. 21 parishes, we rank 4th from the bottom.
The community needs us. There are people who wouldn't have access to computers and internet. We even have laptops that people check out and can take home.
If the vote doesn't pass, the library will still be able to renew its 3 mill tax and continue operations. However, supporters say it will significantly delay any capital projects on the horizon.
Well, library is like the best thing for the kids in these times. They really need books. I think in about 20 or 30 years they will forget what books are, because everything is computerized, tablets, TV, computers, so I really want to encourage reading books.
For Northshore News, I'm Barbe reporting.
Voters will be able to cast their votes on the library improvements of March 25th of next year. While drinking and driving is still a serious issue on our roadways, a more common problem today is texting while driving. The National Safety Council reports that cell phone use while driving leads to 1.6 million crashes each year, resulting in 330,000 injuries. Jadian Daniels reports that Louisiana is taking texting and driving seriously by increasing fines and building awareness of the issue.
It could have waited.
Olivia Currie says about the text she sent that resulted in her totaling her car and rear-ending another vehicle. She received a ticket with a hefty fine.
I got fined with a reckless operation, and that was it. That was about $325.
Olivia was able to walk away from this accident unharmed. Some people do not understand the severity of using their phone while driving.
You know, as a trooper, I would recommend staying away from any electronic device, anything that's going to distract you from driving.
In the state of Louisiana, texting while driving is prohibited, while talking on the phone is legal. In a hands-free zone, drivers are not allowed to talk or text on their phone.
There's certain things, so say if you have your intermediate license, so you haven't had a full license yet, the amount of time before you can obtain your full license can be extended as a result of that.
According to DMV.org, new drivers with the learner or intermediate license can't use cell phones while driving. Harsher penalties have first-time violators now being fined up to $500 instead of the previous $175. Additional violations are $1,000 instead of $500. First-time offenders under 18 could get a $250 fine instead of $100, and subsequent offenses are $500 instead of $250.
Whether it's a distraction, whether it's impairment, lack of seatbelt use, these are all preventable things, so we call them crashes. So certainly cell phones and distractions are on a rise in being overrepresented in our crashes today.
1, 2, 3, 4.
5 seconds is the minimal amount of time it takes from a distracted driver to look away from the road that causes a car accident. Phone companies now offer apps such as Down for the Count and Safe Drive, which reward individuals who resist texting and driving. If one needs to talk on the phone, use a hands-free device. Remember, texting and driving is never safe. Even reading a text can wait. For Northshore News, I'm Jadian Daniels.
The owner of a 100-year-old St. Tammany Parish grocery store is frustrated because her small business have been burglarized 6 times over the past 4 years. Alliyah Sims takes a more in-depth look at this story.
Since 1913, the Talashik's grocery store has been the heart of this small rural town in St. Tammany Parish. Customers with nowhere to go views Talashik and Moore's grocery store as more than just a store, but a safe house to many around it.
I come down here and sit all night if I wanted to. There's cameras all around.
Owner Tracy Moore has owned Talashik's grocery store in Moore for almost 5 years, and in that time, thieves have burglarized her store half a dozen times.
It was just, oh, here we go again. That's what I felt like. Because the November robbery, they took a lot of stuff. They wiped me out of almost everything behind the counter, the liquor and the tobacco, and that was a devastating ordeal.
Moore has captured the video of the thieves on one of the 18 cameras she has installed in her small store.
I mean, we've gone from 6 to 18 cameras in the store. We had 16 cameras in July, now we have 18. And we have installed bars on the windows. We have a steel bar door that we're going to have installed. Aside from that, and living inside of here, I don't know what else I can do.
Townspeople are distraught about the thefts. They say Moore's store is essential to the community.
That's a good woman. She needs a store here. Well, this community needs a store. You know, simple as that.
The store's estimated dollar loss is about $60,000. Moore started a GoFundMe campaign in hopes of recovering her losses. But at this point, she doesn't know how much longer she can go on.
My biggest fear is that I'm not going to be able to keep the store. I mean, if it happens one more time and I'm not able to reach this funding goal that we have with GoFundMe, I don't know how I'm going to be able to stay here.
Without question, she still continues to put a smile on her face and to help the people in need.
I have nobody else, and if I sell the store and I'm not here, I'm afraid that the next people won't be that accommodating to those people, and I love those people.
Her lawyer customer aids Moore recovery by lending small donations to a big cause. For Northshore News, I'm Alliyah Sims.
If you're interested in donating to Moore's cause, visit GoFundMe.com and type Talashik LA in the search engine.
After the waters from the historic August flood resided, one group of people who rarely ask for help found themselves needing it. In this story, I look into how 2 former first responders are still answering the call for others. Jessica Geisler and Jennifer Crockett, 2 former paramedics, dropped everything when they realized their former co-workers lost everything.
Jess and I are working from our homes. What was left over is maybe 7 boxes of baby supplies, baby food, diapers, wipes, those kinds of things.
These lifetime friends have been looking for someone to donate storage space so they can expand operations. They are also desperately trying to collect donations and gain awareness so that they can equip first responders with what they need to better help the community.
For first responders, a lot of people do not know that they're not able to accept money. It's an ethics violation. So what we're able to do is be the middleman. You donate the money to us, and we're able to turn that around into supplies that they need.
A Mississippi church even donated handmade quilts to give them some semblance of home.
They tie on a knot, and as they tie it, they say a prayer. So we thought that was special.
Some supplies that are in dire need include
that sheetrock right now, access to flooring and cabinets, and then appliances. They need appliances. They're going to need refrigerators. They're going to need microwaves and dishwashers and stoves, duty boots, still those undershirts, you know, the tall socks, the dry fit undershirts.
Because their inventory is limited, donations of mattresses, furniture, dishes, blinds, curtains, lawn equipment, and decorative items are needed as well.
You're talking about a community. We are trained. We are trained for years.
But it seems no level of training could prepare them for what they were about to witness.
And I'm starting to see responders cracking. They're just heroes. Oh, big men, you know, carry those people out of burning buildings. And if they're cracking under this kind of pressure and stress, I cannot imagine what the community's going through.
For those community members who are able to help the first responders, there is a need for volunteers to help with computer work, fundraising, making phone calls, and moving forward one step at a time. For Northshore News, I'm Maria Goddard. If you would like to donate, visit linetolinefrr.webs.com.
For the second time this year, Louisiana residents are reeling from the devastation and aftermath of yet another storm. However, organizations like the Red Cross and the Department of Children and Family Services have stepped in to lend a helping hand. Reporter Amari Cordova has the story.
Food, shelter, and water are some of the most basic necessities of life. But in the wake of a flood, they become much harder to acquire, leaving some without for weeks. Rich Woodruff, spokesperson for the Red Cross, talks about their role in helping Tangible Hope Parish to recover.
Initially, we had over 10,000 clients, victims of this, in Red Cross and partner shelters.
Several months away from the flood, that number has decreased, but there's still an ongoing need for assistance.
What we provide is the basics to start with: food, clothing, shelter, but beyond that, mental health support. Maybe they need child supplies, diapers, formula, that sort of thing. Prescription medications might be in need, replacing eyewear. So every family has unique needs, and we're equipped and ready to take care of them.
Woodruff admits the severity of this flood even took the Red Cross by surprise.
You know, this was a staggering-sized event for us, largest deployment, frankly, since Hurricane Sandy.
Hurricane Sandy cost the Red Cross approximately $110 million, according to the New Orleans Advocate. And in comparison to this storm, which is being called the worst natural disaster since Sandy in 2012, it's required other organizations to step in as well.
We served approximately 122,000 non-SNAP receiving households. That was DSNAP recipients.
Those individuals received food stamps specifically because of the flood. However, according to Taylor, they all met the eligibility requirements.
They should have had some type of food loss, power loss, perhaps a loss of vehicle, flood damage to their home, loss of income due to flooding if they're not able to work during that time. So there's several different factors that play into that. We would suggest that anyone who's in need of assistance go on to our website and apply for regular food stamps.
The web address is dcfs.la.gov. For Northshore News, I'm Amari Cordova.
The 2016 flood cost the state well over $8.7 million.
The massive flooding that took place several months ago in Louisiana impacted over 1,000 animals. Many were rescued and sheltered in pet care clinics across the state. Our Eugene Davis visited one of those clinics.
During the Great Flood of 2016, many people were forced out of their homes and had to find shelter. Animals were also affected. This pet clinic, located on Highway 51 in Ponchatoula, is where some of the animals found refuge.
Our shelters were full of animals prior to the flood getting here that we had to do something with in order to clear space for animals that were coming in that were being rescued from the floodwaters.
Several weeks passed after the flooding, and most of the animals had been returned to their owners, but a few, such as Roxy, Reynolds, and Coco, in search of a new home.
This pet care clinic here in Ponchatoula, Louisiana, is where many of the animals affected by the recent historic flooding were sheltered in place. But most of those animals were identified and either picked up by their owners or sent to animal shelters across the country and the state.
The second challenge is a lot of animals that are rescued, they're not identifiable. They have no markings, they don't have a collar or a tag, and a lot of them are not microchipped.
In most clinics across the country, microchipping is standard practice nowadays.
That number is registered with the national database. An animal is found and they're scanned. That database number you could log into it or call them, and it will come up and immediately give you the number and address, phone number of wherever it originated from.
For Northshore News, I'm Eugene Davis reporting.
Over 900 animals were returned to their owners after the flooding. Again, many veterinarians recommend microchipping your pets because that could save your animal's life someday.
After the break, students at Southeastern strive for success at the career fair.
Also ahead, see how students manage to keep their student debt low. Stay with us.
Welcome back to North Shore News. Southeastern sponsored its annual career fair for students and alumni recently at the Pennington Center. Jody Scafidi was there to see how the students connected with potential employers.
The career fair is a one-of-a-kind where students and employers interact with each other, similar to a face-to-face interview. Ken Ridgedale, the Director of Career Services, describes the organized chaos.
We have here today over 140 employers and organizations that are interested in recruiting our students and alumni. About 300 recruiters or organizational representatives are here today representing those 140 companies.
With such an abundant selection of companies on hand, students could pursue their fields of interest with employers.
The career fair is an opportunity for students to either find a part-time job or a job upon graduation, as well for employers to grow their businesses and find fresh faces.
While employers want new employees to expand their businesses, each recruiter has a personal goal in mind.
The goal today is we have a summer internship program, and we're looking to fill those spots.
My objective for finding students would really be just to find the interests that they have in banking or in the company in itself.
We can hire anybody who has a bachelor's degree or is pursuing a bachelor's degree up to a year out from graduation. So we're looking for anyone with a bachelor's degree to become an officer in the Navy.
Just as students are looking for a job that best fits their interests, companies are looking for employees that best fit their objectives. For North Shore News, I'm Jody Scafidi reporting.
If you're interested in attending the career fair next year or would like more information, go to www.careerservices@southeastern.edu or visit their office in the Student Union.
A recent survey ranked Southeastern among the top 100 financially friendly schools in the country. Johan Castro has this report.
Southeastern is popular for many reasons: the beautiful campus, the oak trees, and the athletics, among other things. Financial friendliness can also be added to that list, as a recent ranking saw Southeastern jumping into the top 100 schools in the country in terms of financial flexibility to students.
The affordability of any university is a consideration, and Southeastern does rank among the most affordable in the state. And so I mean, yes, that is a huge drawing point to students when they're looking out there and saying, what can I afford when they make that decision when they're leaving high school.
The federal aid and lower tuition costs contribute heavily in Southeastern's favor, as the school was ranked 93rd overall, the highest in the state.
The affordability of our tuition and fees as compared to many institutions within the state and even the nation, we are on the lower end of those fees. With the federal aid that's available to our students, the lower tuition and fee cost, that means that the students don't have to take out quite as much loans as maybe other universities that charge larger amounts.
Students feel that Southeastern's financial help is useful to their ultimate academic success.
Not only, I live around here, so it's local, but the money I'll save coming here compared to somewhere like LSU is definitely a plus in my book.
Camry believes, though, that the defunding of TOPS will definitely have a negative impact on financial flexibility.
In comparison to the tuition and fee cost as to what TOPS normally was paying, TOPS funded about 68% of the tuition and fees, not including room and board. As we move forward, if we continue to see cuts within the TOPS, that number, that percentage that's being paid will be significantly lower each year, thus causing our students to have to find other forms of payment, funds to pay their bills.
Southeastern has a reputation within the state of Louisiana as a university of the more familial or personal atmosphere. The relief of having financial help just adds to that personal and rustic feeling.
I've heard the program's really good here, so if worse comes to worse, if it really comes down to that, I'll definitely take advantage of it.
Southeastern's financial flexibility certainly helps its reputation as a local school with a homegrown feel. Hopefully, the defunding of TOPS won't inhibit that feeling. For Northshore News, I'm Yohan Castro.
Visit www.southeastern.edu for more information on the rankings.
That'll do it for this edition of Northshore News. Remember, you can watch on-demand video or send us your stories at our U-Report link or visit northshorenews.tv. I'm Nancy Peck.
And I'm Maria Goddard. Thanks for watching.